Well, part 3 was supposed to end it, but they thought, fuck it, let's do another. And part 4 made a shit ton of money, so they said, fuck it, let's do a TV show. And that also brought in the big bucks, so they said, fuck it, why not do a part 5? A story following Alice again, who falls pregnant with her boyfriend Dan, but Freddy begins using her unborn child's dreams.
Do unborn babies dream?
Well, yes. When they're 4.5 months. You've just fallen pregnant. How is the kid having dreams now? He's barely even a peanut.
I don't think this is a very nice place for you to be.
To come back and start killing all of her mates again, using her fetus as a vessel for him to be reborn. Hollywood. Hollywood.
Oh, I'm sure that's not true.
The film was actually originally pitched during the production of Part 3, with New Line executive Sarah Risha, who was pregnant at the time, who thought up the idea of Freddy Krueger clawing his way out of a lady's womb. Delightful.
I think you just need to calm down.
She wanted Freddy to have a baby, stating, I said, picture Freddy clawing his way out of the womb. No one liked my idea. What? So then I got a call for Nightmare 5, and when they came to me they said, remember when you wanted Freddy to have a baby? That's not the idea that you pitched. It was Freddy being the baby. Well, we like that idea now. What if Alice was the mum? What if we don't do that?
I'd like to hear about it.
Sadly, Rennie Harlan, who had directed Part 4, was busy making Die Hard 2, so he was unable to return. Weird resume. Originally, author Stephen King and comic book writer Frank Miller were both offered the job of writing and directing the project, but they turned it down, as did Frank Darabont, Fred Decker and Richard Matheson. Alex Proyas was then approached, but he didn't want to direct any sequels and found it much more fun making original material. Party pooper.
I'm an asshole, okay?
Dennis Etchison actually wrote up a treatment for the studio, but nothing ever came of it until the job went to Stephen Hopkins. According to him, the majority of the final film came from Leslie Bowen's script, with John Skipp and Craig Spector contributing plot points and receiving credit as well. Though the original screenplay involved Alice and her friends rehearsing a school performance of Medea, which the director described as being very weird. Hopkins wanted it to have more gothic imagery than its predecessors, including the visuals of towers, castles and asylums. So pretty much Tim Burton's wet dream.
You're really weird, you know that?
This idea was also supposed to be implemented in Part 2, where Freddy would target an unborn child and would even get inside the womb and control the fetus. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Jesus, don't do that!
However, New Line only gave Hopkins 4 weeks to shoot the entire movie, it shows, and 4 weeks to edit it, it shows. The crew had to shoot one scene on one stage, while another crew simultaneously were preparing another stage so they could film back to back. The director also couldn't rest and had to oversee all of the special effects work, claiming that he was 28 at the time and required very little sleep, but it was due to this hard work ethic that the studio rewarded him by letting him direct Predator 2.
So I've heard.
Much like before, the film went through heavy edits to tone down the graphic nature of the gore and violence to secure the R rating. And A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, The Dream Child, was released on August the 11th, 1989, grossing $22.1 million worldwide against its $8 million budget, becoming the highest grossing slasher that year, but it was actually the second lowest Elm Street film in the entire franchise. But what was more shocking was that it opened at number 3 in the box office. So everyone went to see it, word spread, and then everyone was told to avoid it like the fucking plague. Shit. In fact, it made less than half of the previous movie, which many consider the deciding factor to have ended the series not long after. Meanwhile, fans and critics also weren't particularly thrilled, finding the series tedious by this point with a mythology that had become increasingly convoluted and stale, some even preferring the next one in the series. And even director Hopkins himself was unhappy with the final film. It was a rushed schedule without a reasonable budget, and after I finished it, New Line and the MPAA came in and cut the guts out of it completely. What started out as an okay film with a few good bits turned into a total embarrassment. I can't watch it anymore. Don't worry mate, neither can we.
I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, it's pretty fitting that the opening titles look like they were written by a child, because I'm pretty sure the script was as well. Oh yeah, that's what I'd do if the plug in my shower was bubbling away at me. I'd certainly reach inside and have a feel. Man, Freddy Krueger does have a weird thing with showers, doesn't he?
There's nothing to be afraid of.
No disagreements here. Admittedly, we do get a dream flashback to Freddy's mother being raped in an asylum, and it is a pretty entrancing visual of the location. But Wait, why is Robert Englund there without his makeup? He's not even been born yet. How is he there? Why is he there? This Easter egg makes no sense! The movie also has the same problem as Part 4. These films used to have such interesting and unique characters, but by this point it just becomes a boring, generic slasher flick with nothing kids that are all going to be picked apart one by one. There's nothing to it.
If you don't dream him up, he can't hurt you.
Well, shit, why didn't I think of that? Here I am, welcoming Freddy in to murder all of my friends. All I had to do was just not dream about him. Oh, silly me. The abusive dad, who's somehow still alive, actually does redeem himself in this one. He's sobered up and even sticks up for Alice when she needs him to, so it's a nice change in the character.
You think you could just walk into my house and threaten my daughter?
But apparently Freddy was just practically born evil. Yeah, remember how he was a child murderer who just came back? The mystery of how he turned evil was always so intriguing. Now let's bin that off. He was born as this weird deformed mutant thing. He's a fucking bizarre Martian monster now. Look at him, he looks like Jimmy Neutron swallowed some toxic waste. Oh, and remember when I said no matter how bad these movies are, Robert Englund is still great? Well, I promptly retract that statement. His one-liners in this are awful.
It's a boy! Bad year, Dan! Hey, Danny! Better not dream and drive! Bon appetit! Bitch, you are what you eat! Is she delicious or am I crazy?
Kids, always a disappointment. Now we can really get to know each other.
Only one is good.
Hylas, wanna make babies?
And it's pretty creepy, but that's it. He also doesn't even look as scary anymore. He has less scars and it looks like they changed the makeup. He looks like a parody of Freddy Krueger. Look at him, it's the Disney edition of Freddy. You also gotta love how he always comes back with no explanation as to how or why he comes back. Yeah, this will certainly kill him for good. Oh hey, we were wrong I guess. They just say, well, she got pregnant and Freddy is using the baby's dreams, but I mean he'd still need to be around to invade the kid's dreams. Why did he need the kid? Where's the connection? Now I've always wondered how films like this come out just a year after its predecessor and the characters suddenly seem to have a brand new bunch of completely different friends that we hadn't seen before. You make this many new friends in 1 year?
It's a beautiful evening here in downtown Springwood. We'll be back with the music in just a moment.
I am busy rehearsing as the worst and most convincing radio DJ the world has ever seen or heard. Yeah, and I should point out that this movie has some of the worst acting I have ever seen. That is how you react to your boyfriend being splattered to death. You're acting like you just missed your bus. That is how you react to your friend walking off to his death. You're acting like he forgot his keys. Hey, what's she even doing with her face?
I mean, it was probably for me to celebrate our trip. I mean, we've got to do something.
Alice?
Please give me an acting class.
Why don't you take off? Leave Springwood. Cool off somewhere for a while.
God damn it, Yvonne, you don't just run away from this guy. He finds you in your dreams.
He found a lot of other people before he found us.
Oh god, everything is wrong. The lines, the body language, the editing, it's all wrong. It's like a high school play.
I tried to warn all of you about Kruger.
Alice, please.
I thought about that.
She must have fallen asleep while she was at the table.
This is getting a little sick, guys.
Too bad.
This is so bad. This is some of the worst I've ever seen.
The Phantom Prowler wouldn't have been afraid to tell her how he felt.
Holy shit. He's really real, isn't he?
I know exactly what you're up to.
He won't hurt me. He needs me alive.
Who? What's she talking about?
Do you ever react like a normal person? He's fucking dead. He didn't just leave his wallet behind. A lot of the film I refuse to take seriously, and it's not even treated like the next installment where it's a comedy scene. It's done in completely serious sequences, like his face appearing on a motorbike. Look at him, the dickhead. I ain't taking this seriously. Although the subsequent death does look pretty cool and gruesome. Alice quite literally joins someone else's dream by drawing a stick figure with a name on it. This guy Mark hangs around in front of the worst blue screen in the history of cinema. Yeah, look at the special effects. Yeah, are you afraid of the dark? Eat your heart out. A guy gets sucked into a damn comic book. This isn't even ridiculous in a funny way. It's just fucking stupid. The director tries to be creative and artsy, but it's beyond a joke. Look at it. What the hell am I watching? It's not funny, it's not scary, it's not entertaining, so what the flying bra on a pigeon's arsehole is the point in any of this? Then Freddy turns into the villain from The Mask.
It's Super Freddy! Told ya! Comic books was bad for ya!
also love how Freddy is still a goddamn myth. Yeah, 5 movies of people preaching about this mysterious murderer, 5 movies of people mysteriously dying straight afterwards, and there's still no documentation or evidence of him. All a myth. It's only a year later. We also see an older manifestation of Alice's baby, later being called Jacob, played by that kid from Jurassic Park. And it turns out that little boys can also make anything sound creepy in a horror film. Who knew?
It's lonely there.
Oh, and Freddy literally spells out his entire plan to Alice just so she can then try and stop him. Smooth. Even though Freddy clearly tries to kill Jacob at one point, so how the hell can he be reborn if he kills the only thing keeping him alive? I mean, at least the next one will be funny for how bad it is. This is just boring. It looks like something out of Tom and Jerry.
You ought to try something.
You're the one who's always slapping my hand about my weight, Mother.
But that's why we diet, dear. So we can eat at social events and not upset the other guests.
Tell you what, why don't I just eat the whole goddamn tray?
Oh my god, who cares? Alice has a friend called Yvonne who also continuously denies the existence of Freddy despite everyone dying around them. The characters in these films are fucking insufferable. Although, and I'm not entirely sure if it's supposed to be funny, but the Doctor's reaction to Alice spouting this Freddy nonsense is fucking hilarious. Wait. What the hell is that? Why does your plant have a pair of jeans on? What the hell is that? Why is it never acknowledged? A good chunk of the movie is then spent on people trying to convince Alice to have an abortion, whether it's to kill Freddy once and for all, again, or because she's not able to take care of the child, yet suddenly become another after-school special on abortion. Isn't that what you wanted in your Freddy Krueger movie?
You don't understand.
We know you've been through a lot.
Been through a lot. All of her friends and boyfriends are all dying. Understatement of the fucking century.
I want you to stay awake and watch me, okay?
Because that has never failed before. And Freddy gets treated like a bitch and gets his ass kicked in the asylum. It's Freddy Krueger. He's taken a lot more than this in the past.
Good night, asshole!
Oh, shut up. You're not a cool badass hero. Stop trying to be. Then Freddy turns into some spiders because... I don't fucking know, but if you really want some behind-the-scenes trivia, they used around 200 real tarantulas, but they somehow escaped and were roaming around the studio and hopefully ate the director's head. And then they decided to rip off Labyrinth. You know, this film genuinely could have wrapped at the 70-minute mark, but it just lingers around for feature length for a laugh, and it pissed me off. Freddy even ends up becoming Alice because this franchise clearly never learns from its mistakes. What was wrong with just a guy who kills in people's dreams? What's the need for all of this extra bullshit? And just when you think it can't possibly get any more silly, Jacob turns into Freddy! The imagery gets even more ridiculous before the cunt dies. Again. Then he kills his own mother for a laugh. Then another lazy cliffhanger ending. This movie blows! And is worse than 2. It is. As bad as part 2 is, at least the acting is solid, which is more than what I can say about this shit. The acting is atrocious, it's ridiculously unscary, the comedy is awful, the effects are dreadful, and it's so goddamn boring. Part 5 is often the one that gets forgotten about, and maybe that's a good thing, because in my mind, it's easily the worst Nightmare on Elm Street movie out of the entire bunch.